Hello, this is Bwana from Bwana.tv. This is my series of videos talking about E3 2012, press conferences, announcements, all kinds of gaming goodness here at twitch.tv/Bwana, live.Bwana.tv, twitter.com/Bwana. Today we're going to talk about this video. We're going to talk about Ubisoft. Ubisoft had their press conference, and those of you who remember last year, Ubisoft left a lasting impression that still talked about today. You guys know him, Mr. Caffeine. You remember him. So he was actually the main topic of discussion when the press conference started. It was like, oh, where's Mr. Caffeine? Where's Mr. Caffeine? I remember last year we all loathed Mr. Caffeine. So they had Aisha Tyler this year, and they had Tobos, whatever his name is. And I called these two a duo. It was like, I think the best reference I made was like a Tasmanian devil and a hyper rabbit were fighting. It was like two balls of chaos random were just going, ah! Oh man, they were so random. So let's talk about what they actually talk about at the conference. And the first thing, oh man, left a really bad taste in my mouth. I was delayed because I was watching on my iPad, and the chat, I saw my chat room go, what? They were like, huh? What was, but why? Huh? That was, why are they doing that? So they start out with the Far Cry 3 trailer, and it starts out with total nudity, sex, groping. No idea why. I was just like, I don't want to watch anymore. So that just really turned me off. Really turned me off. And I watched the rest of the Far Cry 3 trailer, and I didn't have any more interest. I was just like, what? I don't know. So the game looked okay. Typical first-person shooter again, with some interactive cutscenes, I guess. We talked about this in previous videos, how that's kind of being done a lot. It's I don't know. Didn't really strike me as a game that I wanted, with the stupid scene notwithstanding. Next up on the list, they talked about Splinter Cell Blacklist. If you watch my Microsoft video, you know that I was impressed by Splinter Cell Blacklist, given the single-player gameplay. In this particular segment at the Ubisoft press conference, they simply showed a trailer, which kind of was the single-player gameplay, but in a CG way. I wasn't impressed by the trailer. If I just had the trailer to look at, I would probably not want to buy the game. I was like, they showed a cool little spider. I was like, Tom Clancy, I know, cool gadgets. But the single-player gameplay, when you actually watch somebody play the game, is actually very good. So this is probably a game that I am going to buy based on that gameplay alone that I saw at the Microsoft press conference. But the trailer was, I don't know. Maybe because I was so impressed by the single-player gameplay that the trailer couldn't live up to it, I guess. Oh man, my expectations were already pretty high, so that's probably a case of failed expectations. Now the next thing they showed, those of us hungry for Wii-U gameplay footage finally got a taste of people actually physically using that giant controller. My wife came up to me, she was like, Nintendo, did they just announce some giant iPad? And, you know, it was this giant controller with a big screen. I was like, yeah, it's pretty much a big touch screen on a controller. She was like, oh, okay. But yeah, we finally got to see some gameplay, and that was with Rayman Origins. And Rayman, great game. Can't say enough good things about it. I was very perplexed. Those of you who watch my live stream and watch my reactions, I was just like watching him do things with the Wii U remote, playing Rayman, touching the screen. He was like sliding his finger across, tapping certain things. Reminded me of the DS-like gameplay with no stylus, except you got your finger. And he kind of had it on his lap, and it was like he was playing the piano. I kid you not. I was just like, look at his hands. He's just like doing everything. And I was looking at that, and I was like, can I imagine me doing that and actually having a good time? I don't know if it was too complicated, or maybe I'm just getting old, or have gotten old. I just want my NES controller. D-pad, 2 buttons, start and select. I don't know. But it seemed a little bit weird. I was like, I got to look at that more. I didn't dismiss it. I didn't say it didn't turn me off. I was just a little intimidated by it because I was like, man, that looks kind of involved. He was like, boop, 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 slide, circle, spin, dodge, parry. And then towards the end of the video, they did a little kind of like a tap tap revolution, tap tap revenge thing, where you had a music sequence where you were tapping at different intervals during the music. That was very cool. That was a very cool part. It got a pretty good reaction from the crowd. That was a good use of the Wii U remote. Wii U controller, calling things Wii remotes, Wii U controller, and first time I've seen some real interactivity with the new system, so that was kind of exciting to see for a very, very, very long time. So Rayman Origins, great game already. It's like they can't mess it up, so throw it on the Wii U. It's going to succeed there as well. Now, in the turn to the dark side of the Force, we got to see a zombie game for the Wii U as well. Ubisoft was kind of on this whole Wii U thing. I don't know if it's because their name starts with U or what, but they were like all about the Wii U for a bit. This zombie game where they were singing God Save the Queen. I don't know if that's the name of I know it's a British song. And I was like, that's pretty creepy. Yes, I was quite disturbed. It sent chills down my spine with someone singing that song, and gore and zombies and people shooting their faces off and viruses spreading, and zombie apocalypse sung to God Save the Queen. And people were like in the chat room going, is this the Wii U? Is this Nintendo? Huh? So maybe Nintendo's making that crossover to the hardcore gaming crowd. Those of you who like to see zombies and sing God Save the Queen may be picking up a Wii U. Given that the Wii U now has a new Pro controller, which is obviously not like any other controller out there, which is obviously completely innovative and built from the ground up with no other basis from any other consoles. You may be picking that up. So, ZombiU is the name of that game. Very dark, man. It was so dark. So dark. I was just like, my face was stuck like that for a while. And then we finally got to see Assassin's Creed. The new Assassin's Creed. And wow. I said it before, I'll say it again. This is the first Assassin's Creed I'm excited about. I wasn't even that excited about the first one, second one, Revelations, Brotherhood, Brother Monkey, mayonnaise, sausage and cheese. I was not that excited about all the other Assassin's Creed. I look at this one, and this one it just appeals to me. Going back to the American Revolution, the whole hunting in New England stuff just looks really, 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 really cool. So we got to see some gameplay footage, got to see a trailer, lots of stuff with that. That was very exciting to see. I think that was one of the highlights. Okay, so if you're going to do a press conference at E3, you want to make a good first impression and a lasting impression. For me, Ubisoft failed on the first impression. I'm like, why are they throwing nudity at me at the very first scene? I'm just like, I don't want to see that. But then they took a turn for the better. They started with Assassin's Creed, and then they said, all right, we're going to show you guys, this is where they kind of failed though. They're like, we're going to show you a new genre called esports. There's a genre called esports? They kept calling it oh boy. Man. And I just, I forgot. Thank you, Annual Gift Man. Maybe because I threw it out of my brain. The very first game was the dance game. Just Dance. There's a whole bunch of people dancing. And I just said, okay, whatever. I I didn't even write it down. I was just like, But anyway, back to what we were talking about. They kind of went on this uphill, you know, we're going to get super Ubisoft and Ubisoft and Ubisoft Uber. So they started off this game that I have been following for like the past week because it was being streamed on Twitch TV called Shootmania. From the makers of Trackmania. If you ever played Trackmania on PC, you know it's a very, very good creative game for racing. So they're kind of doing the same thing for shooters, but this is a game tailored to be, you know, all about competitive gameplay. So Shootmania is a game where they have a game mode. Right now the game's in alpha, where it's 1 versus 3. Like 1 versus 3? 1 versus 3? Why would you have a game mode 1 versus 3? Let me explain. 1 versus 3, there's basically a point you can capture in the middle. 3 people are guarding it, and 1 person has to infiltrate. The 1 person has 3 armor points and a single kill rifle. So he has a railgun that can kill the enemy in 1 shot. However, the 3 guys guarding has only 1 armor point, meaning they can die in 1 shot, and they have to shoot you 3 times to kill you. So basically, the 1 guy's kind of OP, and the 3 guys are weak. If you watch it, you're going to love it. So basically, they brought these guys, these YouTubers, and these esports guys from Counter-Strike, these girls from Counter-Strike, and they put 6 laptops on this. I was loving this as a PC gamer. I was loving this. They put 6 guys on the stage, and they had a match, and basically the guys won, kind of a landslide. But it was very exciting to see Shootmania again. And you know, while that match was kind of a landslide, if you see a really close match, it's really easy to watch and really easy to get into. People look at it and go, oh, the graphics look terrible. There's no way this game can succeed because it's like 2004. Get over the graphics. Just get over it. The game is amazing. One of the highlights, I think, of the Ubisoft game. Now, if you think it's... when I first saw it, I was like, hey, this looks like Quake, but with the bad ridicule. But then I saw that game mode, and I was like, wait, this is only going to be 1 game mode. They're going to have multiple game modes, and the game's only going to be like $25 with user-generated content. It's a Mania game, so yeah, you're going to be able to create your own levels, your own maps. Very, very good. Very, very good. So Shootmania was impressive to me. So those of you who didn't like it, I'm sorry, but it was impressive to me. Now, that wasn't the pinnacle. That wasn't the top of the hill. They just kept going up. Next, they showed like this propaganda message talking about connectivity and how, you know, we're all connected, and how this one guy shut down the entire Northeast grid by unleashing a virus. And I was like, wow, this is intriguing. I said, is this a cyberpunk game? And they were talking about hacking and how easy it is to get other people's information and how we're all connected. And, you know, then they talked about this new operating system called ctOS, how everything's connected and controlled by ctOS, and how everything can be hacked. And I was like, wow, this is a pretty cool little thing. Where's the game? I was like, okay, where's the game? The trailer, the little propaganda thing stopped, and I was like, okay, give me more, man. Give me more. It caught my attention. This guy walks out. He's like, I'm going to show you something epic. Prepare your little stupid faces, because up till now, you have not seen anything this epic. Your little mouths are going to open. Get your bibs out. Start drooling now, because I'm going to show you the best thing ever. Prepare yourselves, you little derps, as I unleash my creation unto you. So he started talking, and all of a sudden they showed this guy on the screen. And I was like, wait a minute. It was this guy walking through like, I think it was a train terminal or something. He's just walking around. I'm like, okay, why does everybody around him have little icons above their head? I say, wait, is this like Heavy Rain? Yeah, it looks like Heavy Rain. He's walking around, and I see a little icon above somebody's head that says hack. I'm like, huh? Wait, hack? I'm like, uh-oh. So he starts walking around again. And he looks over to these screens of, it was like an advertisement or something, pulls out a mobile device, hits a button, and they all blue screen. I'm like, oh. Yes. So this guy's walking around, with his little handheld terrorist device and proceeds to cause havoc. He's just walking around, blah, blah, blah. He's like this vigilante or whatever guy in the story. He meets up with this guy. He's like, blah, 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 blah. You're an idiot. Blah, blah, blah. I love you. Hell, here's a gun. He gives him a gun. And all of a sudden, you're shooting people. Third-person shoot. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This is too cool. He walks up to a traffic light. Says, all right. I think he got some kind of, he was after this one guy. Got some intel he was coming. He's like, all right, the guy's coming. I'm just going to make the traffic light fail and causes a collision at the intersection. Proceeds to shoot people. Walks up to the guy he was targeting and kills him. And all of this, with all this cyber stuff going on and hackery and trickery in this atmosphere that seems so awesome. I can't even describe. Like the guy said, I'm going to show you something so glorious your face is going to melt into a pile of bubble candy jelly beans. That's what happened. And I was just like sitting here going, the whole chat room was like, I'm throwing my money at the screen and nothing's happening. And I was like, shut up and money my take. So this game that we just described was called Watch Dogs. And easily, it's not even close. This game is the best of what I've seen at E3 so far. It's nothing else. It just left everything, and it does. And it got such a round of applause when it was over. People were clapping, standing up, and the guy was just like, I told you. Yes, show me the accolades. Yes. I warned you. I told you your face would melt, you stupid little people. Now enjoy my creation. He walks off the stage. And I was just sitting here going, well, I was like, well done. Well done, Ubisoft. Well done, because that right there just stole the show. I don't think anybody else wants to talk about anything else at E3 now. If you watch my Microsoft video, everybody was talking about, that was like right after we saw that. Everybody was talking about Watch Dogs during the entire Microsoft video. They were like, oh my goodness, Watch Dogs, go to this website, look at this video. Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs. I've got a Watch Dog t-shirt on order. Watch Dog hat sold here. Everybody was just like, yes, with Watch Dogs. So Ubisoft did a good job this year. I think they did a pretty good job this year. Kind of a bumpy start, but Splinter Cell was already. I was already sold on Splinter Cell. Rayman Origins already a great game. Showed off the Wii U stuff. Assassin's Creed I was already looking forward to. So Ubisoft already had a good track record with me going in, but they just with Shootmania and then that Watch Dogs, I was just like, GG. EA, everybody else, GG. Good game. So that concludes this video for Ubisoft. Again, I'm gonna put some links. I didn't talk about this in the other videos, but I'm gonna put links to the archives over at twitch.tv so you can watch in case you didn't see them yet. I'll put them in the video description. You guys can follow me at twitter.com/Bwana, or you can follow my live stream at twitch.tv/Bwana, or at live.bwana.tv. Also at youtube.com/ILBuff. I do this little podcast called Game Chat with Bwananis. Game Chat with Bwana. We do that every Monday. Today is Monday, but we're not doing Game Chat with Bwana. We're doing E3 Chat with Bwana. We're covering all of these different press conferences. We've already done Microsoft. We've done EA. This is Ubisoft. We're going to be talking about Sony. Sony's going to be going live in about 30 minutes from now. We'll be talking about their stuff as well. So enjoy, everyone. Take care. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Cut.